What's up guys, Jeff here, long time no talk. First off, I think this might be the scruffiest I've been in a video in maybe a year or so. Let me know if that's true. Hashtag toddler life. Anyways, what I want to talk about today is this concept of the fact that if you're a believer, if you love Jesus, if you follow him, you are a person from the future. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, I'm obsessed with future stuff. I think you can see Marty and Doc back there. What I mean by that is when you start following Jesus, you become a resurrected person, and the future hope we have, the future goodness, the future city we're chasing actually becomes our present reality and present truth. What do I mean by that? Okay, first of all, go back to the first century, take the DeLorean back there, right? Where Jesus lived, Jesus walked, Jesus talked, Jesus taught. Now, everyone, especially in the Jewish worldview, believed in the resurrection of the dead, but they didn't believe that it was going to happen right now in that moment. They believed at the end of time, God was going to resurrect the righteous in some sense, and there was a couple strains that didn't believe in it, you know, the Sadducees, but the Pharisees, the modern Jewish thinking of the first century, certainly believed is going to happen at the end of time for the righteous, and that God was going to raise all and then judge all. So when Jesus gets resurrected, that actually was not the thing that was super mind-blowing to people, even though that was, in a sense, of course we know that. What was mind-blowing is that that happened in the present moment, meaning the future hope of God, the future hope of the city and what God was going to do. It seemed like in Jesus, he was starting to do that now. And what that did is that totally blew up their notions of the ages. And what I mean by that is, again, in the first century, people thought there was the current age of how they were living, how they perceived the world, and then kind of what they saw as the age to come, meaning when God was going to finally put everything back together. He was going to right all the wrongs. He was going to put heaven and earth back together. He was going to fully judge sin and evil and oppression and hurt, finally take care of the widow and the orphan, and full restoration and reconciliation of all things. But what was interesting is about when Jesus resurrected, it seemed to be that he was starting to do that in the present. That Jesus is in a fully resurrected body, fully glorified, and he's kind of his future self, but now in the present. Another way to put it is he kind of lassoed the future in his resurrection and ripped it into the present. And what Paul starts to unpack is he starts to say it's no longer these two ages that are fully distinct and separate, but there's actually this overlap where the current age and the age to come are overlapping, almost like a Venn diagram. And that middle part is the age we're living in now, where the future isn't fully here, but it's starting to infect the present. And he starts to make these arguments that you then, when you start following Jesus, you become a new creation, you become a resurrected person, you become a future person. And what that means and what that matters is that the love and the hope and the goodness that we do have for us in our future, that we'll get resurrected bodies, that our relationships will be fully renewed, that there is hope and there is goodness, and that everything will be reconciled and resurrected. We have the opportunity through the resurrection of Jesus to kind of live as if that's true now. Paul kind of almost commands us to say, hey, pull that into the present. Live with a resurrected hope in the present. And what's funny again about that future analogy I like is in the same way if someone were to show up truly from the future, just like when Marty McFly goes back to the 50s, he looks different and he looks peculiar because he does things a different way. And that's a really cool worldview or way to think about how you are as a Jesus person. You are a person of the future, meaning you're going to start acting and living in a way that looks peculiar, that looks weird, that looks different, but that's because you're a person of the future. You become, and the way you love others, the community you're in, you become this signpost or this arrow of saying, hey, this is the hope for humankind. This is where we're going, and this is just a little foreshadow or a foretaste of what it's going to be like at the end of time. Because the way we love each other, the way you love your neighbor, the way you love God, the way you treat the table, the way you treat relationships, the way you treat your money now is just like this little shadow of, oh, that's what it's going to be fully like and fully realized at the end of time. So you are a person of the future, and when you live in that truth, when you live in that beauty and that goodness, it changes everything, and that becomes your witness to the world. And the cool part is then you get to start to distill and think, okay, what will it be like at the end of time? What will our hope be? What is God going to do when he fully reconciles everything? And then you get to rip that into the present through the power of the Spirit and the power of the resurrection. And so I hope that's an encouragement to you guys that you are a person from the future. It's okay to look peculiar and weird because everyone from the future would if they showed up out of the DeLorean. And secondly, you actually don't have to wait for the age to come. God is infecting and infiltrating the present with his future and his hope now by how you love the widow and the orphan and the neighbor, and how you treat your money, and how you eat, and how you work, and how you love, and how you serve, etc., etc., in the same way that Jesus did. So I hope that's an encouragement to you guys. Love you guys. Talk to you later. What's up, guys? Thanks so much for watching. I want to give a huge shout out to this week's sponsor, and that is Audible. Now, if you guys don't know, I love Audible. They allow me to listen to books, which allow me to be a better me, a new me, a better version of myself as I continue to grow and learn and distill knowledge and wisdom from others in their audiobooks. And they're awesome. I listen across all devices. They sync across all devices. I listen on my iPhone when I'm working out or traveling or running. Whatever it is, they're incredible, they're amazing. They want to hook you guys up with a free 1-month membership trial and a free audiobook. When you do that, just go to audible.com/Jeff, or you can text Jeff to 500-500. They're amazing, you guys. I want to recommend this month one of my favorite books, and that's Surprised by Hope by N.T. Wright. I'll put a picture right up here. That's on Audible. Please go listen. It's actually where some of that person of the future stuff I was just talking about came from. Really changed my theology and my faith. Beautiful and amazing, amazing, profound, life-changing book. Go check it out. You get a free book with your free 1-month membership, audible.com/Jeff. Text 500-500, text Jeff to that for the same thing and the same hookup. So love you guys. You guys are awesome. Link down in the description and on screen as well. Have a good rest of the day. Take care.